What's going on, people? Welcome to the Fulham match preview. It's another game week, another opportunity for Palace to collect all 3 points. Thankfully, it's away from home, but I'm joined by Patrick, Lou, and also Nick here to talk about the game, as well as the first anniversary of Oliver Glasner since he joined the football club. We'll be talking about our best moments and maybe some of the worst moments. As always, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Gents, let me start it off. I'll get my negativity out of the way. I'm looking forward to this game, but in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking about the home form, thinking, all right, we can beat Fulham, but can we get the points needed at home? That's my mind state right now. It should be good though, Patrick and Lou. You're going to the game, but
and Nick,
for me, in particular for this game, it's away from home. That's exactly what we want. But for us to be a bit more consistent, I need our home form to change, which of course we can't control in this game because we're not playing at home. But if you want me to be honest, that's how I'm feeling right now about Palace after the Everton defeat, due to the fact that, of the circumstances of that game, with Everton only having 13 outfield players available, Palace having, players back from injuries and having a strong bench and squad. And I just don't feel like we've done enough at home. So I need that to change for me to be bit more excited about games. But maybe after Fulham win, that could happen. But I'll start off with you, Nick. In regards to this game, how are you feeling?
Yeah, Fulham away is always a good away game. Nice pubs nearby. Be good to see Patrick when he comes over. And stop him from buying half and half scarves. That's my main objective on Saturday. Is pick Patrick away from the half and half scarf sellers.
It's not going to happen.
Lou doesn't know that. Lou, do you know that Patrick buys half and half scarves?
Listen, my uncle can do what he likes.
Lou, all right, don't end the stream, Dave. But look, if you look up there, all right, the reason I buy them is because there's a Bournemouth one from last year in West Ham. I use it as a way of remembering the game. It's not like I don't wear them. I don't wear them around the house or take them out. I like to have them as like a commemorative thing. So reminds me of, like, for instance, West Ham away was with my good friend Nick. It reminds me of that day, so that's why I have them.
See, I'd have kept the Greg sausage roll as my souvenir from that game. It's probably still.
I wish I could have. Trust me, I wish I could have.
Yeah.
But you asked me about the game. Fulham's always a tricky one, isn't it? I think we're on a par with Fulham, kind of levels we're at. We seem to be playing a lot better than we were. I was just reading. You mentioned Glasner's year in charge. I was reading the article about him on The Athletic, and it's been very up and down. But I think he's got the players where we need to be. Everton, I thought we were unlucky. It's one of those games we deserved to win and didn't. And they're quite few and far between. I was gutted after it. But thinking of Fulham, they're going to be very, very difficult. They've got some excellent players. I know Adam Traore doesn't play that often now, but he's always one that's seems to have done it against us. And it's Marco Silva, isn't it, their manager? Yeah. He's another one I'd have loved at Palace when we were scouting for managers. So it's going to be difficult, but it's meeting me mates, going to another part of London. That's what it's all about as well as the result. So, like Lou said before the game, he's not too gutted about losses because it's all part of the whole thing of being a football fan. And you got to know what defeat's like to enjoy the wins. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game and very hard to call.
How significant is this game, Patrick, in terms of the point difference between us and Fulham? I think it is 9 currently. Of course, if they win, that will go up to 12. However, if we win, that could go down to 6. And, if we change our home form, then you might think, can we catch up to Fulham or not? But in your eyes, when you're going to this game as well, you're traveling over, how important is this one?
It's important because we want to get back on track as far as the league's concerned, but we do also have the cup against Millwall coming up. So I'm looking at that, and I'm not really sure. And we talked about it in our group chats quite a bit. Can we really make an attack on 2 fronts? Can we really go for an FA Cup and go for a top 8 position in the league? It's probably not that reasonable as a Palace supporter. But obviously, I want to bounce back. I mean, our away form is very, very good. We do have a very fit squad. We've got a lot of choices for the manager to make. So I'm looking forward to the game. Fulham's always a tough tough place to go. I mean, we don't win there that often, but we got the draw last year with the Schlupp goal. But I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know if I can go crazy if we lose, because again, we do have the cup. If we didn't have the cup to go for, I'd probably be a lot more thinking on the league. But I think I got the cup in the back of my mind, kind of. So that's where I am right now with that.
For me, well, I think we're kind of reaching a point of the season in the league. Well, especially if we're looking at 8th or so. Some people are saying, "Don't be silly. That's already done." Some people have faith. It depending on how you view situations. But I don't know about you, Lou, but for me, this game holds significance in that regards, because I think if we do lose this game, 12 points, I think we're asking a bit too much for us to try and close that gap. Like, you need to go on a nice little run, especially with how Fulham have been playing so far this season. But do you think maybe the cup holds more importance? I know we're talking about Fulham right now, but does that play a factor as well? The fact that we can look forward to the cup. So, the league games against Fulham away from home, despite us being better away from home, it's not as important as it normally would be if we weren't in the cup competition.
Yeah, I think it's an important game. Whereas 13 points from the relegation zone, we're closer to Europe than we are relegation. Listen, it will take a lot of results going our way to get anywhere near 8th or 9th. But to me, if we can get a Wembley trip and finish higher than we did last season, that's a good season. We have no divine right to win cups. If we can get to the quarterfinal of a League Cup and the semi-final of a FA Cup and come 9th, which would probably be the highest Premier League position we've come, maybe hit 50 points. Listen, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Obviously, we could do more, but Glasner's our manager. We've got a good squad. Yeah, I'm looking forward to every game in a way.
Sorry, we got 54 last season. Don't you want to at
Did we
least
get 54?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we did. Did we get 54? I think we got 49. 49 is our.
I don't think we've ever got 50 points.
Where did I see?
Yeah, we haven't.
Then?
40,
yeah, never got
54.
We've got 54 points in the last calendar year.
Oh, that's what I saw.
Oliver Glasner. Under Glasner,
yeah.
which would be Palace's highest ever point tally, and we'll get into Glasner talk as well.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, it's a year of him at football club. But overall, since we've been in the Premier League, even I think in the 90s as well.
We come third then.
I was there the season we came third.
But 49 points is the highest
that year. Liverpool came second, we came third.
10th and 49 points is the highest we've got. So if we can improve on that and get to a cup semi-final, hopefully a final, it'll be great. I think Glasner's the perfect cup manager. We've got the squad to win on any given day, beat any of the teams that are left in the FA Cup. So listen, away day Saturday, gonna go with Patrick. It's my 5th time going Fulham. I just enjoy the football, man. A few beers before, enjoy the day, hopefully get a win.
Can I sneak in with a question there? You know, when we went up all those years ago to the Prem, would you have been happy then if you'd have known that we'd have had so many years and the highest we'd come was 10th? What would your thoughts be then? Or would you just be happy to have been in the Prem for that long?
I think hindsight's a wonderful thing, but the previous years to when we got promoted weren't the greatest times. So obviously then, if you give it to me then. But if I look at all the other teams that have been in Europe and won cups, I would be disappointed. Still, that Man United FA Cup final, still probably one of the worst days, probably the worst day of me going to football. So yeah, I would have liked something more, but yeah, it's only hindsight. You can say that.
Yeah, it's the context that matters. At the time, I think we would have been happy because I mean people were expecting us to go down the first season. We got promoted, but now that we've been in the Premier League for how long, and as Lou's mentioned, what teams around us have done, not that everyone's done fantastically, but even certain teams have experienced Europe. You know, Burnley is crazy, but they experienced Europe under Sean Dyche, which a lot of people tend to forget about. And now you're looking at the Bournemouths and, you know, the other teams around us as well. It's even the Brightons, and you're thinking, why can't we do that? But it's a bit more of a sustainable approach. We'll see in the long run if it does help us out. But for me, I think 10th and a good cup run would be good. However, I'm not writing off. I'm very close to, but I haven't written off the fact that the 8th place spot because of the fact that I know that we can go on a run under this manager. However, we need to win this game. If we win this game, 6 points is not that crazy to catch up on. It isn't. That's
what do you think, Pat?
Yeah, because I need to throw some context here, and I get what D's saying, and obviously where Lou's coming from. But again, Nick and I have been fans for just a bit longer. And you have to. And my context is this: in the previous years, when Palace got promoted, they got relegated the following season every single time. They got relegated. The only time we ever remember we were in the Premier League as a founder member. We stayed up for those years. Once we got relegated, though, to get back was difficult, and we always went back down. So for me, you told me we were going to be in the Premier League for 11 straight years. I would have bitten your hand off, and I still would.
Yeah.
And I get the context of an FA Cup final and what Brighton have done, and West Ham have won the Europa League conference. I get all that stuff. I really do. But I'm still very, very, very thankful that Crystal Palace have been in the Premier League for so long and have the opportunity under this manager to do bigger and better things. That's why I look at it.
Yeah, I think just quickly, where I think my first season was when we got relegated in '98. And like Pat said, if you'd given me 11 years in the Premier League, I would have bitten your hand off. I think it's the football romance that when you've been going for so many years, so many games, you just it's the hope, the selfishness of wanting that one thing, because I don't know about you, but seeing Palace win a League Cup or go to Europe once in my lifetime, that's enough for me in my lifetime. And obviously my dad's been going since the 60s and he feels the same way. So sometimes I think my dad's going to go for his whole life not seeing that. And I'm halfway, I'm like over one third of the way and I haven't seen it either. So that's I think it's just that element of selfishness as a fan that you just want to see. But then you look at all the 50, 60 clubs below us that haven't experienced it as well.
Yeah, but it's not about the 50, 60 clubs below us. It's about us. That's how I see it. It's not like I know what you mean. But
no, I'm saying there's football fans all over. I said it's a selfishness to obviously there's a selfishness to thinking we should do this and we should do that. But sometimes football just doesn't work like that.
Is there selfishness because we're talking about context of what's happening in the past and comparing it to now, saying we would be thankful to stay in the club.
We was a club that came third in Division 1 and got to a FA Cup final against Man United. That was so near to winning. Like football's a game of margin.
I know, but I think where we are at right now as a football club, there is a divide in terms of some people being happy because of the fact that we've been in Premier for 11 years.
That's their personal feeling. But
I know.
Personal feeling and reality isn't the same thing.
And however, the reason why I'm saying there's a divide because I'm seeing that at Selhurst at home games, one of the worst atmospheres so far this season. It
has got a bit flat. Look at Stoke; they did the same thing. They were up in the
and the reason why it's flat is because no one's really thinking about being in the Premier League for 11 years anymore. It's about thinking about teams around us. And when they're not looking at the 50 teams below us, they're looking at the team that's been in the Premier League, maybe shorter than us, and it seems like they're achieving a bit more. The likes of you look at Bournemouths and the Fulhams, etc. They seem like they're pushing on, and even the Brightons, they've experienced European football. So I think you can look all the way back then and compare it to now and say be thankful. But if we're living in the current moment of time, we're looking at the future, how we can progress as a football club. And right now we're just stuck in crossroads, in my opinion, in terms of some people saying I'm happy, some people saying we need more. It's just confusing, and I think that's reflecting on the atmosphere that we're seeing at Selhurst. But go on, Patrick, just quickly.
But D, one last thing. I get what you're saying, but as of today, we are 13th in the league, in the 5th round of the cup, under a very good manager. You cannot tell me you're not happy about it. I understand we could be better. I always get that part. But being 13th, not worrying about relegation as a Palace fan, in the FA Cup 5th round against the team we should be able to beat, and under a manager like Glasner, you don't think people should be more happier than not happy?
I'm not one of those people who's saying I'm upset where we're at, because I still feel like, as I said, I think we're very close to our season in the league pretty much ending. If we lose to Fulham, I think it's going to be a massive task, and I'll be surprised if we can target that 8th spot again. But I'm saying there are people out there who think that the club could have done more to back Oliver Glasner, for example. And we might not be 13th.
We all agree. We all agree.
That's the reason why I can't just look at 11 years staying in the Premier League. Yeah, it's incredible. Like, it's incredible that we've been in the Premier League for this long. But now we kind of not establish ourselves. Maybe you can say we've established ourselves, but it's like looking up now, and it feels like we're always one step behind. It's like there's always that one transfer or a window which we could have done a bit more, and it just continuously trying to play catch up, and it's annoying when other teams, for example, do. And I think that's where everything kind of stems into. I
do think football is different from every single supporter and fan's perspective, in the sense of Palace can be someone's emotional getaway from life. It could be for someone else, they want glory. For someone else, it could just be seeing friends. So there's always going to be a broader perspective on every single fan. One fan might be like, oh, we need to push on, we need to do this. And the other guy is just happy that he gets to see his mates on a Saturday. So there's always going to be different across the board. That's how I think.
What doesn't help either is the fact that you've got a lot of supporters now who've only known us in the Premier League.
Bingo. But
you've also got those moments where we were in the Championship or Division 2 or whatever you want to call it, where it was exciting to go because we were in the playoffs and we were pushing for that spot in the Premier League. I mean, the whole debacle with the season where Holloway came in, took over, that was exciting. We were playing brilliant football and it was good to go there because we had a target to push for. When you go into a game, and like Lou said, it's great to see your mates and whatever, but it just becomes a bit mundane, a bit of a chore where we're not looking a bit higher than that.
That's how it felt under Roy.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that now because we are playing good football.
It just feels like that because we don't win at home.
Yeah, probably.
And and I think that's the reason why even for this game, like there's no reason for me to not be excited about this game. Our away form is much better than our home form, man. Fulham's going to be a difficult task. But in the back of my mind now, it's just a case of, let's say we beat Fulham, 6 points is great. But for me, the Villa game is the game I'm looking forward to more. The Millwall game, the Ipswich game at home, because I need to see a change at home for me to be like, you know what? We can actually look up the table rather than down. Otherwise, I think we'll be here for our home form continues as it is, which is not good enough. 2 wins all season in the league at home. It's like who doesn't really matter after we beat Fulham and lose or draw the next 2-3 games.
I do think, I know we'll talk about it on the Villa preview, but I do think Villa play to our advantage in the sense that they won't really sit back against us. So it'll be nice to see, because obviously we kind of knew what Everton would be like. They'd sit in and they'd play the percentages. They'll do exactly what we thought they did. It would be nice if Villa played their way, where they play a high line and we still can't win. Then you're going to be like, yeah, we're just a bit cursed.
Yeah, but not every team's kind of approached it like that. There's been high line teams that's come to Selhurst Park.
Yeah, but I'm saying, Villa are specific to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the Villa preview. In regards to this game, then, what does anything need to change from the Everton game lineup? I think Wharton. And Eze, really. I think that's the main two difference.
I think the biggest thing is psychologically, do you drop Mitchell and play Chilwell? I think that's his biggest decision. Do you give him another chance to build his confidence back, or do you say, listen, I've got to go with Chilwell this game? I think that's the only decision to make. Other than that, Wharton and Eze play.
Yeah, Wharton and Eze was a massive surprise to me. But I was on the stance of like, all right, they're not starting. They're 100% not starting because they're not fit enough to play 9 minutes. There's no way Glasner drops them against Everton at home. Like, he's not going to be naive. He's not a naive manager. So hopefully they are fit to start this game. And if they are, I think that makes a massive difference to how we play, especially playing away from home. We know how we are. It's better suited to counter-attacking teams. But let's talk about the left wing back position.
I'd recall Jeff Schlupp on his performance last night against.
On that one,
he looks fitter, sharper, slimmer, quicker. I don't know, just a bit.
It's the hoops, mate. They make you look thin.
And it the opposite.
No, I don't know.
And it goes to show you, right? You know, our fan base, a lot of people just weren't Jeff Schlupp fans. And I'll admit the Villa game was really bad. He got subbed off as a sub. But let me tell you something. You put yourself in the right environment, Champions League, Premiership side in Scotland, and he looks like a different player. Seriously. I look at the stats. His stats were, I mean, I know it's not a stat thing, but his stats were ridiculous. His performance versus Elise was ridiculous. As Lou said, he was inverted into midfield as a left wing back. He was doing things a left back. Sorry, it's like a different player. It's like, oh boy, we should probably buy that guy from Celtic. Oh, he's our player already. Do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous. He played so well yesterday. So credit. But
that's why he played for Leicester when they won the league.
Yeah, but that was ages ago. Yeah, it was ages. He was much younger, much fitter around then than he is right now. But talking about Ben Chilwell,
like Klein.
Yeah, what was that?
Fullback like Klein then.
Yeah, it was back then. Back then, these players could play at this level. Does Ben Chilwell start this game then? For any of you lot, because Tyreek Mitchell, he didn't have the greatest of first halves. In fact, it was not even. I think that's me being nice. It was awful. It was an awful first half. And Chilwell was here till the end of the season. We wanted competition. Competition is here. He came on, and I thought he offered more going forward than Mitchell did. Defensively, maybe he could have done a bit better for the goal. And there is a question in the back of my head about how good he is defensively. But then I guess he's only played barely any minutes, so he might need some game time to adjust. But if it's not now, then when will it be, Patrick, for Ben Chilwell?
Aston Villa at home. I wouldn't
Why?
start him now because I don't want to scapegoat Mitchell off that performance. Lose right, Adama Traore. I'm worried about him away at Fulham. I think that defensively, Mitchell is a better defensive player. The attacking players on Fulham away will be worrisome to me. Villa at home and even the Millwall game after that, I think are better games at home for Chilwell to start. He could be more on the front foot, possibly, etc. I wouldn't want to drop Mitchell again. I don't think he's good for his psyche. I think he took a knock. I think he was concussed slightly in that game. I think people don't look past that a little bit, but I wouldn't drop him. And going back to what you said before, I think the important thing is for me is yes, Eze and Warren have to start, and at some point we need someone else to score goals besides JP. We need goals from our midfield, whether it's Wharton, Hughes, more from Eze, more from Sarr. We can't rely on JP to score every single goal. It's getting ridiculous now. He's on form. He's playing really well. But at some point, people like Lerma, another example, have to start scoring some goals for us.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the Sarr conversation, spoiler alert, will 100% carry over to the Villa game after what I said for the Everton game and what happened. So we'll be talking about that because I think that is an issue to talk about at home in comparison to away from home when there isn't that much spacing behind. But for me, I think Sarr does start this game. And then I would like to see SA eventually be given more opportunities, but it's still very early days. So I think as the season goes on, he'll be giving them opportunities because I think it's a different profile to what Sarr is. Anyone in favour of Chilwell then starting? Patrick's not. I'm split.
My only thought is that Mitchell has played a lot of football, and a rest would probably do him some good. But as you say, it's when he comes in, and we don't know. Well, obviously, as a footballer, he's got to deal with the fact that there's somebody pushing for his position now. So hopefully, it won't go the opposite direction to what you'd expect it to, if that makes sense. You might have a downer on it.
It's unfamiliar territory, Lou. But I think this is going to show us how he reacts to competition because we haven't seen Mitchell react to competition before. Yeah. Well, he's had
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say everyone deserves a shot at redemption. So I think he should start the next game. But football's a ruthless sport. Premier League, probably the most ruthless in the world. So if you don't perform on Saturday and it's another lackluster, poor attacking output, mistakes, not being confident on the ball, then listen, that's just how it goes. You're out. Work your way back in.
Yeah, and that's how it should be.
Because Chilwell won't be able to play 90 minutes. So if Chilwell was to start the next game, Chilwell can't play 90 straight away. So Mitchell will get his opportunity when he comes on. But so you get your chance of redemption now. If you don't take it, then you'll have to try for 20, 30 minutes yourself.
But then he's kind of building up to 90. Well, not exactly yet, but he's had a 45, then he's had the half an hour as well. So it seems like he can play a half or so, but we'll see how much.
90 minutes up and down as a left wing back is, I could playing left wing back in 7-a-side would be hard, let alone Premier League game.
Especially, I think, but then again, you're saying he should start against Villa potentially. So clearly,
because he could have 50. That's not, but just because he starts doesn't mean he plays 90.
Yeah, well, if you're going to start, then there's going to be an idea. Maybe he plays 60 minutes or so. Yeah, you're right. You could play 60 or so, but depending
that's
on
how you normally build up.
But I don't know about that because I think Chilwell, I don't know if we all agree on this, but I think Chilwell offers more than Ty going forward. So
by far. So
the context matters as well because if we need more from attack and Chilwell starting, do you take off Chilwell? I mean, this is a different conversation, but do you take off Chilwell and put on Mitchell when you know that he's weaker offensively? So I think it's a bit of a hard decision. Like, do you start with Mitchell and then let's see if you're getting goals, if you're not getting any goals, do you go a bit more attack and bring on Chilwell? Because if you take off Chilwell, then you're going to automatically go more defensive. So I don't know if you want to do that at 0-0. So I think he might even start the next 2 games and then Chilwell comes off the bench to eventually can start 9 minutes.
It's all dependent on who you're playing because Fulham could attack heavily on the right and push up high on the right. Therefore, you need a defensive left wing back, but then there might be more space to attack more on the right. So it's all dependent on in-game tactics and how the other team set up.
Yeah, and they've got good players as well. Iwobi, of course, Traore.
He absolutely ran the show in that home game against us. God,
yeah,
I know we had a weak team out, but he cut through us like butter that game.
Yeah, of course, Joachim Andersen will be starting the defense. Robinson, one of the most informed left backs in the league. You have to watch out for him. And that's the thing. It shows how much of an impact they can have. If you swap Robinson and put Robinson in his Palace side, oh my, I don't think.
I personally think, like, hopefully he doesn't. But Munoz against Robinson's a bit of a mismatch. He won't be able to get any change out of Robinson. I think he'll do better pushing Robinson back, but he doesn't beat Robinson once, 1v1.
Yeah, they've got a solid squad. They've actually got a solid squad. They built a solid squad. I think they're in a decent position now, of course, in the league as well. So
they brought William back as well.
Who?
Yeah.
William.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, he's well old now. He's almost as old as me and Pat. But
yeah, he came off the bench. But yeah, they got a solid bench as well. Though they got players that can come off the bench.
They take off Raul Jimenez. They put on Moniz, Smith Rowe, Sander Burge.
Pereira comes on.
They got good, and they're really good. I think they get quite a few late goals as well. So they're a solid team, and be a tough game. I think Marco Silva's got he's always gets good results against us as well.
Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be easy, but Palace we just need to show up. I'm happy that Glasner wasn't happy about the result against Everton. He said that we should have won. Like these are the games that we should be winning. So hopefully the players we just need to go on a nice little run now, home and away. Away is fine. It's just the home game. So hopefully we win here and then push on and get a result against Villa as well. I just want to quickly move on to Oliver Glasner before we get score predictions. A year at the football club. I think he's been, the circumstances I think has been great. I know we had one of our worst starts of the season under him, but you can see the recovery eventually. Like a good manager will be able to navigate through the hard times and get a solution. A bad manager will always stay in a slump. So I think he's a great manager to have at the football club, one of the best managers that we could have right now. At times, I think he's been let down by the football club in terms of our business. And of course, there are question marks over the home form. But then again, even reading the Athletics report about Oliver Glasner, make sure to check out from Matt Woosnam. If there's a manager who can change it about, like we've seen him get us out of the rut, for example, when we beat Burnley 3-0 and then we went 5 games without a win after Burnley when he first joined us. And then we went on that run. Like he's the manager. He's kind of proven himself in that short span of time, a year isn't that long, that he can get you out of these moments. So I think Oliver Glasner can change our home form. But I've loved it. I mean, I think we all have, right? Is there anything bad to say about Glasner, really?
Pat, have you got his stats for the last year?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 44 games played, 19 wins, 12 draws, 13 losses, a 43.1% winning percentage, which is the highest of any manager for Palace in the top flight. Individual players, JP got 27 goals in 43 matches, 24 Premier League goals. And that is 2 behind Mo Salah's had in the same amount of time, which is mad. And Eze's got 11 goals in 37 appearances. And even Henderson's got 12 clean sheets in over that time. The stats are ridiculous. Listen, I don't care anybody says you can complain about the home form, the poor start to the season. He has been such a revelation, especially in lieu of who he took over for. The style of play, I absolutely love the 3-4-2-1. I just do. I love it. I love the way I'm a coach. I love the way it adapts. I love the way he's made players better, made JP better. I can go through it, made Lerma better, made Hughes, made Will Hughes into a top Premier League midfielder. I mean, he's got young players he's made better. He's given young players chances, like Devaney and Kapoor's got a little bit of time, and Agbenoni, etc. It's been a great year. I have nothing to complain about. I know what we started this show talking about we want to do better, and I totally get his desire to have players in early and get transfers done, etc. But I'm telling you right now, I could not be any happier with this last year of the Palace fan than I am now under this guy. He's been brilliant.
He does also say that he's impatient. In that article from the Athletic, he did say that he
love
struggles
that
with
too. By the way,
impatience.
I love that too.
Not just in terms of just Palace stuff, but in terms of life. Like apparently he received a lot of fines because he could be driving above 20 miles per hour in the speed limit, and then now he just learned like just be a bit more patient, just slow it down a bit. But you can kind of see it as well by his comments. It all adds up when he says he wants plays in early, but he just wants the best. He's a very he
meticulous.
You can tell by his mentality, like he always looks at every game with the mentality of winning, and I think that's very important as Palace fans because in previous times, it hasn't been the case in terms of some managers were happy with a draw, whereas this manager genuinely, you can see it by his approach. Maybe the home form needs to be a bit better this season, but yeah, I've got nothing bad to say. Lou, have you been patient with his impatience at times?
Listen, I'm his biggest fan, apart from maybe Pat. I think he's the best manager we've ever had. I think one underrated aspect of him is his speaking in post and pre-match press conferences, his tactical breakdowns, and just he kind of has a similar ethos into like how Palace is in Austria. I think he got in trouble about talking about his political views, but like he's outspoken. He doesn't care what other people think. He's methodical. He's really smart. Listen, couldn't have a better manager. And well done for Parish for getting him.
But now the biggest challenge is about keeping him. And I think that comes down to Parish and the ownership in terms of showing ambition, because that's the only way you can keep over Glasner. Yeah, shown before.
I love the fact that it's kept on Paddy McCarthy though, and he's learning under him.
Yeah,
great point.
He does do a Tony Pulis. We've got somebody who can step in for a little bit anyway, although we did saw Paddy McCarthy in charge at Arsenal, didn't we, when we got beat 4-0 that time? But
yeah.
It's the bench on Saturday against Everton was the strongest we've had for a very long time. And we've just been really, really unlucky with injuries, re-injuries, and whatever, and losing Elise. So although the start of the season was tough, and a lot of people were talking about him going, weren't they? He has turned it around. My only worry about him is that it's well known that he takes a long time to get going in the season. All right, you can blame the club for getting 3 players in on the last day of the window, which 4 players in, which was 2 weeks into the season starting. So that's going to mess things up a bit. So how does that bode going forward, say starting next season, if we do want to get this 8th or 7th space? Do you think we can rectify that poor start that Glasner's been having just by having everything in place, like it seemed we almost did against Everton, albeit with a few players injured?
Well, let's start with transfers. I think the next season could be Glasner's last season if he doesn't sign an extension. Lou, I don't know why are you smiling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought you were just putting like a cheeky smile or something. But
his contract's up, isn't it? Like, and
his contract's up.
Me personally, he's at least a level of manager. Like he is a top European manager. He could take over any Bayern, Dortmund, PSG, Lyon, Madrid, Barca. He could go to any one of these clubs and he'd do well.
Yeah, I know, but you need to show that ambition in the window. Like, let's
not. Yeah, but I'm saying no matter what ambition you show him, he is still above where he is now as a manager and a coach.
Whoever it is, we should be bringing in players a bit earlier than deadline day, especially when you're losing Elise.
But that's a stream for another day, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. For us I'm just saying, we're talking about Glasner. For us to keep Glasner, have a chance, and we have to show that ambition. And that ambition is literally, of course, the manager can't have everything his way, but start this window strong. Let him have the players in for pre-season. Let's not go into deadline day signing 4 players. I think that gives us our best opportunity. And I think if we do that, we won't start slow. I think that's one of the reasons why we start slow, Patrick.
So, D, you're absolutely right. And I'm never going to argue with you about when they get transfers in early. But I will say this, and Nick asked the question before about why they start so slowly. To me, if you understand or if you watch a lot of football, it's the formation that he plays is very unique. That 3-4-2-1 takes unique players. You need to have a left wing back, a right wing back, 2 number 6s or maybe them as 8s, and then 2 number 10s. And look at what's happened to Ruben Amorim at Man United. The reason why he's struggling, he does not have the players to play that system. So that system takes a lot of time to tweak and to work around. Remember last year you talked about, or maybe this year you talked about, should you change his system? The system is fine for him, but you have to have the players to play it. And I think at some points this season, we haven't had the right players to play because of injuries or whatever. Elise being, by the way,
why have you got a plan B then?
No, it's not about plan B.
Wait a minute, Nick. Elise, Eze, and Mateta were absolutely perfect for the 3-4-2-1. You lost a great player in Elise. So what he had to do, Nick, was he had to put Sarr in there and get Sarr to play differently. So he has tweaked the system. He has tweaked it. I wouldn't, when you say tweak the system, I'm not talking about going from a 3-4-2-1 to a 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2. He tweaked it in the way that he uses, like Sarr, for instance, in a different way, and how he has Munoz push up higher than Mitchell, because Mitchell can't attack as well. So, but to change the system to a 4-4 ever doesn't work. But when you go from a 3-4-2-1 to drop it into a 4-2-3-1 when you have maybe 4 guys defending and you have maybe push up Munoz, he does change the system. People don't see that in the game. So, but just change the system to 4-4-2. That's never going to work for him. It doesn't work.
By the way, Elise is like Bayern's best player right now.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn.
Exactly. Yeah, but the problem is not Elise going. No one expected Elise to go. The problem
I'm saying that the expectation was always. I don't think people understand how good Elise is. Like I know everyone knows he's no. I know everyone knows he's really, really good, but I don't think I understand how like he is. His output is ridiculous. To have a player that never wastes a pass, cross, shot, dribble, literally anytime he gets the ball, it's productivity. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Yeah. And to lose that and get someone and try and go down the route of getting a few players to make up for what he had, like get his pace from Sarr, his technical ability from Kamada, and his goal scoring from Eddie and Kay. Okay, I understand that. We probably would have been better off just getting a budget Elise because he's so good. He's so good.
Is that player?
Maybe.
Later.
You never
know.
But
I don't think SA is 10% of Elise. Yeah.
Yeah, of course not yet. But I'm saying like in terms of like a budget Elise. Maybe. Like in terms of someone, forget about budget Elise. That's offensive. I'm saying like in terms of player who can get on the ball. No, in terms of a player who can get on the ball and try to create stuff, Esse is meant to be that profile. We got him in, and then the left wing back's position, the 2 positions that we should have basically tried to solve over the summer, we solved it in January. So it's more on the club for me than Oliver Glasner, because as Patrick mentioned, the system is very specific in terms of the player profiles that you need. We done it. We got the wrong profiles. We didn't get the right profiles, and here we are right now. And that's the reason why. And we can't repeat the same mistake in the summer. We need a left wing back. Yeah, I'm not talking about left wing back.
Right wing back.
January. I swear, I'm not here talking. I don't want to talk about that. We have to sign left wing back.
The biggest. Obviously, I'm rooting for Nketiah to do well, but it's absolutely crazy that we spent 25 million because it's 25 rising to 30 on add-ons. Yeah. It's 25. We could have got a player that is 50-60% of Elise for 25 million, and that was enough. 50-60% level of Elise was enough.
Yeah, and but now we've got. Not solved. I don't know. Some people still don't rate him, but we kind of got that backup option behind Mateta, so that's kind of solved. I think Nketiah is an upgrade.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's how I see it. That's how I look at the Nketiah stuff. Is he an upgrade on the striker that we had behind Mateta? Yes, he is. In my opinion, I think he is, because Edward was that bad. Of course, you might think 25-30 million is a lot for Palace, but that problem is solved now. That problem we don't have to talk about the striker position. Maybe in the summer, I don't know. Maybe you lot think we do, but that's solved for us now. We have money. We barely spend any money, by the way, people. Net spend of around £8 million. Or 8 million euros.
But maybe they're gearing up. But there's the stand, and they're probably gearing up for a bigger summer. So they have. They can't just splurge both January.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Like Nketiah, it's not like we bought Nketiah. That's it. Like our business is done for the next few years. Like we barely spent money like that in the first place. Like we've got money to spend. So this summer,
we also owed money for Wharton and Munoz as well. That's what Tim said.
But that money, we probably owe money for other clubs as well. That happens when you sign a player. It's hard. Like you barely have any transaction that's 100% paid for upfront. Like you pay over the years, so that's not a problem about Munoz and Wharton. I'm talking about the player profiles. Patrick, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I want to go back to your comment because I don't want to just like it throw in. I want to get Nick's thoughts on this. You mentioned we got an upgrade on the backup to Mateta last year, but I'm going to argue with you that I'm not sure Nketiah right now, based on what he's done, is an upgrade on Edward.
What has he done that's wrong? I just hate this narrative.
No, it's not. See, I knew you were going to say that. I want to get Nick's opinion. He hasn't scored a league goal and Edouard scored league goals last year. So that's why I'm saying, I'm not saying he won't eventually be better than Edouard. I'm saying right now, today, he's gotten 0 Premier League goals. So your comment was he's an upgrade on Edouard. So I want to get Nick's opinion. Do you agree with that, Nick? He's an upgrade on Edouard?
Is in terms of effort, yes.
Fair.
When I think of Edouard, I think of his goal against Fulham a couple of years ago at Craven Cottage, which was the ball played in nicely for him. And if the ball's played in nicely for him, he can put the ball away. But he had to have that specific ball. Now, in Nketiah, he had that moment. Who was it against where we had the penalty and Mateta took the ball anyway? West Ham. He had that moment where he could have scored and fluffed it. And it was a question I've been thinking of through the programme is we're talking about other players coming in and does Chilwell come in for left back? And Nketiah needs to score a goal. But just for the old cliche that if he gets one, then more will follow.
100%.
However, if we want to move up the league and get this 8th place, can we risk a player that's not scoring goals to come on and score a goal? So it's a bit of a quandary for Glasner.
Yeah, but I don't think he's been given enough minutes in his position. We've seen it.
That's true, but he doesn't deserve the minutes because Mateta has been so.
We need
our goal scorer on the pitch.
That's the problem. Like he comes. This is the thing that I hate the most about Nketiah. He comes on for 5 minutes and people are talking about Nketiah after like a defeat. Like,
that wasn't my narrative. My point is that he hasn't scored a Premier League goal, and I understand what you're saying. He was injured. He hasn't started.
Yeah, he
doesn't give Lou just said he doesn't deserve it. Part of not deserving it is when he does come on, he hasn't scored. I'm not saying he can score every time he comes on. I get that. But he has come on in games where he could have scored and he hasn't. Brighton being one, West Ham being another. I'm not saying
he got an assist in that Brighton game.
Pardon?
But he should have scored as well.
And those both games he played well, but he didn't score. You're missing my point. This is not me. I'm not killing Nketiah. And I know you're very defensive about it because you are. Same as I always be defensive about Mateta. I get it. Trust me, when you're all in on the player, you get defensive. I get it more than anybody. I'm just trying to make a very good point that he has not scored a Premier League goal. We can't just brush that away and act like it's not a big deal. It is now February.
We said the same about
Mateta. He had opportunity to score, but how many opportunities has it really had? That's my question as well.
I get that, but at some point,
it's not like he's coming on every game and he's missing massive chances.
At some point, he has to score a goal. All I'm saying, he has scored a Premier League goal. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Yeah.
But we felt the same about Mateta as well. And look what happened.
You did. I always have faith in Mateta. I don't want to hear that, Nick. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. I had faith.
Have you seen
the Brighton goal?
On social media, there's the last couple of days. I've seen it a few times. There's a clip of JP playing for Le Havre in the.
That was class.
It was better than. Almost better than Ayew's goal against West Ham from that area.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
The Glasner moments,
striker and manager situation. But for me, it's simple. You just back Glasner. You don't repeat the same mistakes. You learn from it. Everyone makes mistakes in the summer. We can't repeat the same ones. That's simple as, especially with this manager.
In conclusion, sort it out, Parish.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, cool. We're going to wrap up there. Before we do actually score predictions quickly, I'm going to go for... do you want to talk about Glasner's best moments, Lou?
It's up to you, lot.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah. Best game for me was the Man United game, the 4-0 last year. As a Palace supporter, we never beat United twice in the season, so that was my favourite moment. Worst moment was this season, 5-1 Arsenal. Hate losing to Arsenal. They took maybe 6 shots, scored 5 goals. I hated that. And my favorite moment was meeting him at the training session over in Maryland. To watch the training session is one thing, but to have to talk to him for like 2 minutes and have him, say thank you for being a supporter, being so nice, take a picture of me was brilliant. So those are my 3 moments about Glasner's first
And he's still got that picture on his wall, on his fridge, Pat.
It's about... Yeah, nice one.
Those are my 3 best moments as well. Without me sounding boring, but literally United... Well, best and worst. United win 4-0. Worst is Arsenal. And my best moment is when Patrick actually met him because I made me so happy for him.
You're an idiot.
Those are my best moments as well. Nick?
I think getting him in was our best moment. My favourite moment was having somebody who'd won something in charge of our club. Low points, start of the season when we couldn't get anything. again, that was kind of out of his remit.
No. It's just best. No. It's just best game, worst game, best. It's not worst moment. Best game, Nick, and worst game.
Best moment. Yeah.
And bet you did best moment. Best game.
My favourite game was probably Man United, the 4-0. I'm trying to think of other games. My memory's shot at the moment. I can remember stuff that happened 56 years ago, but go back last 3 or 4 years and everything kind of merges into one brown sludge. Yeah, I think the worst moment's going to be when he goes.
Okay.
Lou?
Best game, Wolves away, 3-1 in the sunshine.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was in the sunshine as well, man. I was in Turkey. That was amazing.
No one cares. just that was Palace at their best. Like that was just Eze and Elise just running riot. Mateta, it was just non-stop singing. One of those perfect away days. Worst game, I'm in between two. It's probably the Arsenal League Cup game because there was 6,000 of us. We thought that was our biggest chance of winning the cup, and I just felt we went out of a bit of a whimper and they kind of let him down. And the worst league game, I'd say Forest away on that Monday night when Henderson let it go under. I was there. It was just one of those games where it's like, what's happened? Do you know what I mean? And
he wants us to feel sorry for him, guys. He was there. Oh, Lou, man, I feel for you, man.
D, your banter is
you're real fan. You're real fan, man. Sorry, man. We're not real fans.
D,
man. He was that first
D,
away.
your banter is as bad as your ball knowledge, bro. Just please.
Yeah, you was there, man. I know. I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. Just let it out.
Listen, this pour from you, man. Don't interrupt me. When I'm talking about Glasner, don't interrupt, please. Have some respect.
Any other bad games? It's like you just brought that moment there. You know why he just said that? That's his worst game. He's like, look, guys, I was at Forest away. I was at Forest away on a Monday night.
Are you saying it was a humble brag?
Yeah, it was. It was a humble brag. It was a humble brag.
I think
I went Forest away. It's my worst moment. A 1-0 defeat to a side that's second in the league. Yeah, man, that's such a.
It's the fifth time I've been going to Forest. So if you've been going like me, it would have been a brag.
Tell him, Lou.
We can go loyalty points for loyalty points if you want to. We can go loyalty points for loyalty points if you want to.
I was going when there wasn't loyalty points. Yeah, just remember that.
Same.
Yeah, no, you were. And what best moment I think was the Liverpool away, the 1-0. I wasn't there, but that's when I started to truly believe when we beat one. And I ruined Arsenal's title. We ruined Liverpool's title hopes, and then Arsenal lost on the same day. And I was like, yeah, something magic's brewing.
Yeah, man, that was a special day. I remember at Anfield. Let's quickly score predictions, like 30 seconds. I'm gonna go for 2-1 Palace. Patrick,
I'll go 1-1.
Nick,
I'll go 2-2.
Lou,
2-0 again, Palace.
2-0 again, Palace. Let us know your score prediction in the comment section down below. It went on a bit longer. We went down memory lane of Glasner. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you have, drop a like, subscribe, your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.